Apparently, this cartoon is made for kids. What's up, guys? So today I'm going to talk a little bit about cartoons and shows for kids. This video is actually a sponsored video by one of my patrons, or two of my patrons I should say, Joe and John Ardeen, who was interested in my take on this subject. Because I kind of mentioned it a little bit in one of my videos. I talked about He-Man a little bit and how I watched as a kid. And as most of you know, I have kids of my own, and for the most part, I don't really let them watch a lot of modern cartoons. A lot of them I find to be absolute frickin' cancer. Some are alright, but mostly they watch a lot of the older cartoons. A lot of the shit that I watched when I was a kid. So, you know, they watched like He-Man, G.I. Joe. I tried to get them into Voltron. They didn't like Voltron though. That was actually one of my favorites when I was a kid. So I don't really like talking too much in generalities. I don't want to just say like all modern cartoons were, are terrible, and that all cartoons from the 80s were great and amazing. Because there is good and bad in both, obviously. But what I am going to do is compare one of the most popular cartoons of the 80s and my favorite cartoon when I was a little kid to one of the current most popular cartoons. And think a little bit about, the differences of what's going on. So first, let's take a look at He-Man.
By the power of Grayskull.
So in case you haven't ever actually seen that cartoon, the introduction more or less sums it up. You've got He-Man, who's this big buff dude, and he goes around kicking the ass of evil. And, that pretty much sums up every episode.
A rock slide. Oh no!
Good work, Whiplash. That's the last we'll see of He-Man.
You two are going on a trip.
It's basically not much different than comic books or, superhero movies where you have, the heroic good guy fighting the bad guys. Now, in order to be, unbiased and that I wasn't like super influenced by nostalgia glasses, I went back and I actually watched about 3 episodes of He-Man to kind of see and what's going on with it and to kind of judge it freshly. Overall, I have to say the show holds up fairly well. I mean, I still think it's a pretty good show for kids. It's targeted mostly towards, young boys, and it has, an adventure type of setting that appeals to that gender and age group. One of the main ideas in the show is basically, to be on the side of good, to be the good guys and to, take a stand against evil. And also, and this was something that was very common during cartoons in the 80s, is at the end, they would always have this sort of moral lesson. Like there would be something going on in the episode where basically someone would be doing something they shouldn't have. Usually it was Orko. He was the continual screw up. And then at the end of the episode, you get like a lecture from He-Man or Men-at-Arms saying like why you shouldn't do that shit.
In today's adventure, Orko was warned not to play with certain bottles. Well, Orko didn't listen, and he nearly caused a lot of trouble. There may be containers like this one in your home. This symbol is a warning of poison.
Say, that looks like Skeletor.
And just like Skeletor, it's bad news. It can make you very sick. So if you see this picture on a bottle or box, it means I'm dangerous, don't touch me.
Be a safe person, not a sorry one.
That little warning actually kind of reminds me. When I was younger, they used to hand out these stickers at the grocery store. It was basically the skull and crossbones, the death symbol. And I remember my mom would put them on all of like the poison shit under, in the kitchen, like bleach, shit like that. I don't think they do that anymore. I don't think that's a thing anymore. But anyway, overall, I think that He-Man is a pretty good show for kids. It promotes good stuff. And, the little lessons they had at the end were, pretty good. Teaching kids not to drink poison, that's pretty practical advice in my book. Teaching kids, having an underlying message of be good, and take a stand against evil. Also, I think is a pretty good message to have in a cartoon. Now, I'm sure they still have cartoons like this nowadays as well, but they also have a lot of cartoons that are of quite a different sort. So in order to make this video, I went to the Disney page because, they're one of the biggest cartoon makers, and I looked for what seemed to be their most popular cartoon, and what I found was a show called Pickle and Peanut. Now, before going there, I'd never seen this before, so it seemed really frickin' weird to me. Let's watch an episode together, shall we?
Whoa there, are you guys cool dudes?
Alright, stop. I already fucking hate this cartoon. This art style is cringy as fuck. I mean, it's just fucking horrible. You got this fucking pickle over here, and his mouth looks like a gaping butthole, And meanwhile, walking by, you have this mutant retard motherfucker that looks like the guy off of Goonies.
Whoa there, are you guys cool dudes?
Hey, yeah, we're all right.
Well, with just a spray of crossbow, you could be Ferocious, Prostigious, Fashionable.
Oh, what all those beautiful things.
Alright, so this is supposed to be a kid's show. What the actual fuck is this?
Ferocious.
I mean, I would love to be present at that meeting where they're like, hey, let's make this kid show. I have a great idea for an episode. Let's have a large naked man with a cat head moving his man boobs around.
And if you guys are serious about the crossbow lifestyle, stop by my party tomorrow night.
Sounds amazing, man.
So basically the idea is they're getting this Axe body spray, right? So it's the kind of shit that has pheromones, you know? It attracts women so you can get pussy. And also they're gonna go to a party, presumably so they can go and get some pussy. And I don't even wanna think about what the pickle with the butthole mouth might be doing to the pussy.
We're party guys. We're always down to party, yeah.
I'm partying right now.
Oh, then why don't you give it a try?
Oh, come on, bud. This will be dang great.
Okay.
Alright, so this is a pretty obvious fucking weed reference from Cheech and Chong movies.
Ah, man. That's some heavy shit, man.
Alright, first of all, that's just creepy as fuck. And second of all, this is a freaking kid's show! I mean, it's one thing to have like, you know, like love potions or some shit, or like boys and girls falling in love, but I mean, they have fucking orgasm noises. I don't know how much more of this I can fucking take, man. I already feel like going and find the people that made this fucking cartoon and just beating the shit out of them. And this is where we get the jizz on the face moment. And they even threw in a couple of guys, you know, so they weren't being homophobic or whatever. So everybody gets jizz on their face. So my analysis of this cartoon is that it's basically saying, go get some pheromones, spray that shit on, and then go to this party by some weird looking fucking older guy, show up to his party, and then jizz on the face of multiple women, and also, you know, jizz on the face of some men, just to be on the safe side. So given the choice of which of these two cartoons I would like, you know, my kids to see, and which of the two behaviors I want my kids to model, I think I'm gonna go with He-Man rather than the jizz on the face party cartoon with the butthole lips. But anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please leave me a like below. I've started rationing the likes from my kids a little bit. I'm not putting them all in the bowl now. I've been splitting them in half. About half of them I've been gathering up. I have a plan to plow the backyard and plant the likes, and then maybe I can grow some like plants, in which case you wouldn't have to leave as many likes. But for right now, I'm still trying to gather resources before I can really set up the farm. So leave a like for the farm.